Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video I am going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news, keep you up to date of what players are linked with Manchester United like I do on a regular basis. So let's delve straight into the topic. So I am going to be giving you a bit more additional information on Jadon Sancho because I have been keeping you up to date of what's been going on with him on a regular basis. Also going to be giving you some news on Jesse Lingard, and also going to be giving you the latest news on Donny van de Beek from Ajax because he is huge developments coming out on Donny van de Beek. And also I am going to give you the 5 best decisions that Ole Gunnar Solsjaker has made since he got appointed as Manchester United manager, and he got appointed in December 2018 and that. So there is lots to negotiate about. So let's start with the news on Jadon Sancho. So according to recent reports, I've actually just read this in the Daily Mail, and it says we are not willing to break our transfer record to sign Jadon Sancho, because obviously Dortmund have already said that they want at least £100 million. Some reports have said they want around £120 million. So we're not willing to pay £100 million for Jadon Sancho. I think we're only willing to pay in the £80 million range for the player. Now, I think, players' values have dropped anyway by at least 15% due to this coronavirus pandemic. But, even though we're not willing to pay 100 million for Sancho, we are still emerged as the favourites to sign the player. Don't forget, recent reports emerged out saying that Real Madrid and Barcelona have entered the race for him. But it did come out earlier on this week saying that Jadon Sancho has got an agreement with Borussia Dortmund, and it said Borussia Dortmund will let Jadon Sancho go, providing that their asking price is met. And I do expect, Jadon Sancho to leave Borussia Dortmund, and he did say, if he was to leave Dortmund, his preference would be a move to Manchester United. Don't forget also to Chelsea have expressed an interest in Jadon Sancho. Don't forget, the other week Jadon Sancho revealed he is a lifelong Chelsea fan. But I've already outlined a couple of reasons, why I think it will be beneficial for us to recommend him in, is because Jadon Sancho is well proven in the Premier League. Don't forget, he did endure 2 years at Manchester City, but, he never got assured any first team opportunities at Man City. So that's why he left City in 2017 for Borussia Dortmund. And Sancho is now into his 3rd season with them. But I've got to make an admission, he has been a revelation since his arrival in Germany. And Dortmund only paid around £8 million to him from Man City. So they will make a huge profit on the player, will Borussia Dortmund. Also, when he was a lot younger, he played for Watford. He actually, began his career with Watford. He was at Watford for several years, was Jadon Sancho. Now, what's been coming out recently regarding Sancho, though, is totally contrast to what was coming out the other week, because it came out the other week saying that Borussia Dortmund believe that they can convince Jadon Sancho to stay and sign a new contract. He allegedly said that Borussia Dortmund were willing to offer him a 1-year contract worth around £9 million a year, which, would make him the second highest paid player behind Marco Reus, because Marco Reus is Borussia Dortmund's highest paid player at the moment. And that. Don't forget, it did say, we're willing to offer Jadon Sancho the number 7, because, we have got number 7 vacant at the moment, and like I've said to you before, we've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. We've also been working on Jadon Sancho's contracts for quite some time. We've also been in negotiations with his agent for quite some time. And I think it did say, we're willing to offer Jadon Sancho around £200,000 a week and that. So there you go. And like I said to Jadon Sancho's got a very, very good friendship with Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford did reveal he would love Jadon Sancho at Manchester United next season. But it did say last week, I think it was, or was it earlier on this week, if Borussia Dortmund do sell Jadon Sancho, Manchester City will benefit from it, because something to do with a couple of clauses in his transfer deal from Manchester City. So it did reportedly say Manchester City, would get around 15% of the transfer fee. So this is, what it had basically said in that. Obviously, Liverpool have also been in for Jadon Sancho. Don't forget, yesterday reports were coming out saying that Trent Alexander-Arnold, wants Jadon Sancho at Liverpool. And that he wants Jadon Sancho at Liverpool. Obviously, Paul Ince has, warned, Jadon Sancho, to consider whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right boss. But, he is one of our priority targets, and Jadon Sancho is predominantly a right winner, and Manchester United are in search for a right winner. Jadon Sancho still got 2 years remaining on his contract with Dortmund. He's under contract with them until 2022. We was relentlessly linked to him last year, but the main explanation why we didn't get him last year is because, we had no Champions League football to offer. And Jadon Sancho could reject to move to Man United if we do not get qualification for the Champions League. But he is only at the age of 20, so we're not willing to pay 100 or 120 million pounds for him, but we are still emerged as the favourites to sign the player. And he did actually, say recently, we're planning to sell around 5 players, to fund the move for the likes of Jadon Sancho and Jack Grealish, because obviously, Jack Grealish, he's, being another player on our agenda, and, he's one of our priority targets in that. But, revert back to what I said regarding Sancho, I think he'd go very, very well in our attacking line alongside Greenwood, Rashford and Anthony Martial, and that I really, really do. I really, really do in that. But, Dortmund have come to accept the fact that he does want to leave anyway, so Dortmund have now got a few players on their agenda, who could replace Jadon Sancho. So that's the latest news regarding him. Now, let's delve into the news on Donny van de Beek, then I'll give you the news on Jesse Lingard. So, I've been reading reports, and this is stemming from the Spanish publication via Sports Witness, and they've said we've identified Donny van de Beek as our number one candidate to replace Paul Pogba at the football club. Now, there's been a few clubs that have been in for Donny van de Beek from Ajax. Everton have expressed an interest. Newcastle have been interested. I think it did say a while back that Real Madrid had reached an agreement to get Donny van de Beek. I don't think Real Madrid are now in for the player. I think we've held negotiations over the possibility of signing Donny van de Beek. He will cost in the £50 million range, I think it mentioned, around £53 million. I think around €60 million or something like that for the player. Now, Donny van de Beek, up until this point, has spent the entirety of his career with Ajax. I think he's now into his 12th season with Ajax in total, because he joined their youth academy in 2008. And he was in their youth academy for a good 7 years, was Donny van de Beek. And he's been in their senior squad since like 2015. So he's been in the senior squad now around 5 years. And I've got to make an admission, Donny van de Beek has become an integral part of Ajax's team. He has got a contract with them until 2022, so just over 2 years remaining on his contract. And he is predominantly a central midfielder, mainly operates in that number 6. Got to say, Donny van de Beek, was key for Ajax winning the domestic double last season. He was also key for them, progressing to the Champions League semi-final and that. So now he's another player on Manchester United's agenda. But do you think he would be a good, adequate replacement for Paul Pogba? Let me know in the comments below. He is only at the age of 23. Of course, Ajax have lost a few of their imperative players in recent years. Don't forget last summer, they lost Frankie de Jong to Barcelona. They lost Matthias de Ligt to Juventus and that. So there you go. So reportedly now he's our number one candidate to replace Paul Pogba at Manchester United and that. But like I said, there's been a few clubs that have expressed their interest in the player. His actual, I think it was his agent that said a while back, that, more clubs will express their interest in Donny van de Beek. And I think Ajax probably, do expect him to leave. I'm not going to fully assure he's going to come to Man United, but, we've identified him now as our number one candidate. So that's basically, the latest news on Donny van de Beek. Because I do expect, Paul Pogba to leave Manchester United in the summer transfer market. Of course, I've been keeping up to date of what's been going on with Paul Pogba on a regular basis. And you saw my video that I did yesterday night. It says, we will trigger an extension on Paul Pogba's contract if he does not leave the football club in the summer. But, there's still a slight possibility chance that he could stay, because reportedly, we're not willing to let Paul Pogba go unless our asking price is met. And I think it said in The Sun yesterday, we want around £83 million to let him go. Reports have been emerging out today saying, we could only get £60 million for Paul Pogba. So we probably could end up getting less than what he's worth, because I think, Paul Pogba is worth at least £100 million. Obviously, we paid £89 million in from Juventus back in 2016. So at the moment, he is our most expensive signing. Obviously, like I said to you before, I've said it on numerous occasions. If Paul Pogba does leave Man United in the summer, I think he'll either go to Real Madrid. If he doesn't go to Real Madrid, I think he will make a return back to Juventus. I really, really do. Don't forget, Damasio come out, who's an Italian journalist. Very reliable as well. And he's confirmed that Man United and Juventus have been, in conversations over a swap deal involving Paul Pogba. He said that Juventus have offered us like two of their players for Pogba, and that's, I think, Douglas Costa and Janik. Also, too, Ramsey was mentioned the other week. Adrian Rabiot's also been put into the equation as well. So, yeah, swap deals have been on the agenda. Don't forget, the other week, PSG had expressed their interest in Pogba, and he said that PSG had offered two of their players for Paul Pogba, or they were considering it. It said they'd offered us Angel Di Maria, and and Julian Draxler in a swap deal for Paul Pogba and that. But, that swap deal, will not materialise. So, there you go. But, Paul Pogba now has got the same perception, as what he had last summer, because he did reveal last summer, did Paul Pogba, that he wanted to leave the football club because he was seeking for a new challenge. And he publicly admitted, that he wanted to leave the football club. But his actual preference last summer was to make a move to Real Madrid. But, the main explanation why his move to Real Madrid didn't materialise last summer is because Real Madrid were not willing to meet our asking price. Because we said we wanted around £180 million. And that's just over double than what we paid for him from Juventus back in 2016. Don't forget reports from France, came out earlier on this week, and they've said that Zinedine Zidane wants Pogba at Madrid. Real Madrid have identified Paul Pogba as their number one priority target. But, there again, Real Madrid have got quite a few players on their agenda. They did recruit a good 5 or 6 players in last summer. They got Luka Jovic. They also got Eden Hazard. They got Ferland Mendy, Rodrigo, Eden Militao. So, Real Madrid, did recruit quite a few players in. But like I've said to, Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, he's been talking a lot since the turn of the year. He's held negotiations with Real Madrid, and he's also held some negotiations with his former club, Juventus. But we've been very, very critical of Mini Raiola, reflecting on some of the comments, he has said, since the turn of the year. But I also think that Ed Woodward's had quite a few negotiations with Mini Raiola. But Pogba last year, was talking a hell of a lot about Real Madrid, about his dreams of playing under Zinedine Zidane and that. Obviously, it said the other week, that Inter Milan had expressed an interest in Paul Pogba, but very, very sceptical he will go to Inter Milan. Of course, Paul Pogba's only played 8 times this season for Man United. His appearances have been limited due to his injuries and that. And don't forget, Pogba gave an interview to the United podcast the other week, talking about the issues he's had with injuries this season, and he was talking about how much it's infuriated him. But Pogba's sustained quite a lot of injuries, since he rejoined the football club. Not only that, has had a long-running transfer saga. So I think, we basically, just need to resolve his future. Don't forget as well, Paul Pogba endured a very, very difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era. He endured a very, very bad relationship with Jose Mourinho. I think we made a mistake, though, by getting rid of Paul Pogba when he was a lot younger. Because don't forget, we had Paul Pogba back under the Alex Ferguson era. The main explanation why we had to let him go is because his appearances were limited. Only got a couple of chances, I think. But we did let him go on a free transfer. We'll let him go on a free transfer and that, Paul Pogba. And I think Solskjaer's also held some negotiations with Pogba regarding his future at the football club. What's obviously been coming out, lately regarding Pogba is totally contrast to what was coming out over a month or so ago. Because obviously, before all the football season got suspended, you had Solskjaer coming out saying that Pogba will remain at Man United next season. You also had Paul Pogba himself before that, early that particular week, saying, that he's interested in staying at Man United and he's interested in extending his contracts at the football club. But there you go. But I do expect, Paul Pogba to leave Man United in the summer. And there's a few players on our agenda, who could replace him at the football club. So now, reportedly, like I said, Donny van der Beek is our number one priority target. Don't forget, like I've said to you on my recent videos, Rio Ferdinand he's given his own verdict on Paul Pogba, and he's been talking a lot about Paul Pogba recently. Don't forget, Rio Ferdinand hit back at Graham Souness and Roy Keane over the criticism of Pogba, because they have been Paul Pogba's biggest critics of Graham Souness and Roy Keane. Don't forget, Paul Pogba responded to the criticism that he had received, from Graham Souness, because Graham Souness has been criticising him, persistently. Paul Pogba has won 2 trophies with the football club, and that was the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season at the club. And of course, it was Jose Mourinho that brought him in. I think the best we saw of Paul Pogba, to be honest with you, was in that 3-month period when Ole Gunnar Solsjaker was the interim manager. 27 years of age, Pogba, still got a lot of years ahead of him. But even if Paul Pogba was to stay at Man United, I think he'd only stay for 1 more season. I don't think, he would be here for the foreseeable future, unless, he signed a long-term contract. But I don't see that happening, because it confirmed, we decided not to trigger that 1-year extension on Pogba's contract. So as it stands now, he's got exactly a year remaining on his contract at the football club. So there you go. So now reportedly Donny van der Beek is our number 1 to replace Paul Pogba. Now, let's give you the news on Jesse Lingard. So, the news is on Jesse Lingard is that I've been reading reports today, and it does say up to around 4 Premier League clubs have expressed their interest in Lingard, and that is Newcastle, Everton, Leicester and West Ham. Now, Jesse Lingard is one of the players, that I do expect to leave Manchester United in the summer, because Jesse Lingard has just been so inconsistent, to be quite honest with you. And, he has lost the confidence of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And like I've said to you before, reflects on the years and his overall status at the football club. Lingard should be putting much more better performances out. I think now Lingard is in his late 20s. I think Lingard has got exactly a year remaining on his Manchester United contract. But I think, we do have the option to extend his contract by another year. I think we said the other week that we value Jesse Lingard at around £30 million. And I think he's the worst player, that Manchester United have got at the moment. Hasn't registered 1 goal or 1 assist in the Premier League for over a year now. So that just indicates how inconsistent he is. But like I said, he's been here for several years as Lingard. Don't forget he scored in 3 of our finals. With the club he's won the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield as Jesse Lingard. He spent the entirety of his career with the club. He's had quite a few loan spells. Lingard, he had a loan spell with Leicester, Birmingham, Brighton and Derby. But yes, so reportedly, them 4 clubs are in for him, in the Premier League. So hopefully, we can get rid of Jesse Lingard in the summer transfer market. So yeah, so that's the latest news regarding him. But The Athletic came out the other week, and they actually said that Arsenal have expressed an interest in, there was in for Jesse Lingard and that. So yeah, so that's the latest news on that. That's the latest news on that. Now, I do want to give you, the 5 best decisions that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made, since he got recommended in to Manchester United. So, I think one of the best decisions that he made was signing Bruno Fernandes. This has been reported in the Manchester Evening News, by the way, this topic. But yeah, one of them best decisions is the signing of Bruno Fernandes. Like I've said to you, Bruno Fernandes has really made the difference in the team. Like I said, he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Bruno Fernandes has got, 3 goals and 4 assists so far. Don't forget Bruno Fernandes won Premier League Player of the Month, reflecting on his, good performances, for Manchester United. And like I said regarding Bruno Fernandes, very instrumental. His decision making is very, very good. And, he is predominantly a number 10, is Bruno Fernandes. We'll obviously, keep him in that number 10, because if, we rotate him, we put him like a holding midfielder. We put him as a holding midfielder or central midfielder. That's when, he could become a liability. But definitely Bruno Fernandes is the foreseeable future for Manchester United. We paid £65 million for him with add-ons included. And obviously, of course, he signed, a 5.5-year contract. So actually, Bruno Fernandes is one of our most expensive signs. But I think he's definitely, the best player we have recruited in since the Alex Ferguson era. Now, I think another one of the best decisions Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made is, obviously, promoting the youth. Because like I've said to you on a lot of my videos, Solskjaer has promoted the youth very, very well. And, the young players have been given their opportunities this season. I think, Greenwood's done very, very well. Brandon Williams has done very, very well. Chong, he should get more opportunities next season. Garner, he should also get more opportunities next season. Angel Gomez, the main explanation why he hasn't played much this season, because there has been a lot of uncertainty over Angel Gomez's future. That's why. We're hopefully, that we can get Angel Gomez is it a new 2-year contract. But yeah, I think we've had the youngest squad in the Premier League this season. I think another one of the best decisions that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made was putting Martial as a number 9. Because I've got to make an admission, I think Anthony Martial has done very, very well in that number 9 role this season. Of course, Martial does predominantly play out wide on the left, because in his 4 previous seasons prior to this one, he has been playing on that left-hand side. But yeah, he has been playing in that number 9 role this season. I've got to make an admission, I think he has been very, very effective in that central role as Anthony Martial. And before the football season got suspended, Martial, was in a good vein of form. I think he's on, 16 or 17 goals this season. Martial is now into his 5th season at the football club, so he has been a long-serving player. He's been a long-serving player, but I think one of the best seasons Anthony Martial endured was his debut season under Louis van Gaal era, because we paid around £36 million for Martial, potentially rising up to 57 or 58 million based on goals and achievements, and we got Anthony Martial as a 19-year-old. So I think we'll keep in that number 9 role. Rashford, of course, he can also play in the number 9 and he can play out wide. But, when Rashford does come back in, I think he will play out wide with Marcus Rashford, because he seems to be more effective from out wide, does Marcus Rashford, because that's where most of his goals do come from. Of course, Rashford has been out with a back injury since January. To be fair, he has been stepping up his fitness regime, which is very, very good. He did visit Carrington training ground, was it earlier on this week? Did you know Marcus Rashford? But yeah, he has been stepping up his fitness regime. But like I said, Rashford was one of our best players earlier on in the season and that. So there you go. And another one of the best decisions that Solskjaer has made is by getting rid of a lot of the deadwood, because a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. I think we've seen a total of 9 players leave the football club since he got recommended in. Of course, we saw Ashley Young leave this year after he endured 8.5 years at the football club. He joined Inter Milan, was it for just over £1 million. We also saw Marcus Rojo go out on loan to Estudiantes. Very, very likely, we'll get rid of Rojo on a permanent transfer. Obviously, Marian Fellaini, he left back in January 2019. He was the first player to depart the football club under Solskjaer. Fellaini did endure 6 years at Manchester United. We paid just over £27 million for him under the David Moyes era. But yeah, he's one of the worst players at Manchester United have had, is Marian Fellaini. I've got to make that admission. Obviously, we saw Ander Herrera leave last summer after he endured 5 years at the football club. Obviously, we did get Ander Herrera from Atletico Bilbao for, was it about 29-30 million or something like that. But Herrera did enjoy a good 3.5-4 years at the club. But we let him go on a free transfer to PSG last summer. And it infuriated me, that we let him go on a free transfer, Ander Herrera. But obviously, we haven't yet found that adequate replacement for Ander Herrera, though. Of course, Darmian left last summer. He went to Parma. Again, he's one of the worst signings, Man United have made. Darmian was so inconsistent. But there again, never really got his opportunities at Manchester United. Darmian. Of course, we loaned Chris Smalling out, to Roma. I've got to say, he's been a revelation in Italy. Very, very sceptical that he'll come back to Manchester United. But Roma may not be getting him on a permanent transfer. Chris Smalling, endured 9 years at the football club. So he was a long-serving player. Valencia left the club last summer after he endured 10 years at Manchester United. Of course, Lukaku left last summer. He went to Inter Milan. Inter Milan paid around £72 million for him. And of course, we did loan Alexis Sanchez out. So a lot of players have left since his arrival and that. And I think one of the best decisions he also made was strengthening up our back line, because Solskjaer did recommend Harry Maguire in last summer. We did pay £80 million for Harry Maguire. We paid £80 million for Harry Maguire, so he's the second most expensive sign at the club and the most expensive centre half in the world. Got to say, he has done very, very well as Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire, of course, has got 2 goals for the football club. I think we also made the right decision by giving him the captaincy. We did give him the captaincy, because Ashley Young left the football club earlier on this year and that. And, it's good, that I did get a centre-half in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. Also, too, like I said, his approach to the big games have been very, very good as well. Like I've said, we've registered 17 points against the big 6 sides this season. We've beaten City 3 times this season. Solskjaer's made history in that aspect because he's become the first manager to beat Pep Guardiola 3 times in one season. Our record's been tremendous against Chelsea since Solskjaer got recommended in. I don't think we've lost to Chelsea since Solskjaer come in. I think we've beaten them 4 times, and Solskjaer's overcome Frank Lampard 3 times. Obviously, we're due with Liverpool earlier on in the season. He's obviously, beaten Jose Mourinho as a manager, Solskjaer, because we're beating Tottenham earlier on this season. So we have done very, very well against the big 6 sides. I've got to, be honest about that. And, we are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions. And that is our best vein of form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. So there you go. So revert back to what I said, what I've just said to you just then. They are the 5 best decisions that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made since he got recommended in. Solskjaer has been at Manchester United now for 16 months, so he has been here, just over a year. Well over a year, should I say. The 16 months is including, the 3 months when he was the interim manager. But also, too, there's stuff that Solskjaer needs to work on. He needs to, work out his best formation, because I don't think Solskjaer yet knows his best formation. On a regular basis this season, Solskjaer has been going with that 4-2-3-1 formation. And everyone have a different perception on, some people think it suits our standards of 4-2-3-1, but from my own perception, it doesn't really seem to suit our standards. I think we look more expansive with that 3-5-2 formation, or any formation with 3 at the back. I think, we look more expansive. Some people believe, we should go with a 4-3-3 and that. But he has changed, formation quite a lot of times throughout the course of this season. So he needs to work out his best formation. I think his approach to the games against lower opposition do need to improve, because we haven't been so good against lower opposition, this season. Obviously, against lower opposition, Solskjaer, hasn't really had a plan A, or he hasn't really had a plan B, and he has been making the wrong decisions and stuff like that. And, we have, lost games this season, that we shouldn't have lost. Obviously, we lost to Crystal Palace at home 2-1. We lost away to Newcastle 1-0. Lost away to Newcastle 1-0. We lost obviously to West Ham 2-0. We lost to West Ham 2-0. Lost at home to Burnley 2-0. That was our last defeat. That was our last defeat. But we've also drawn a lot of games this season. Drew with Southampton, drew with Wolves. Drew with Southampton, drew with Wolves. So we have drawn. I think we've drawn quite a lot of games, this season, to be quite honest. Obviously, I can't remember every match and that. And like I said to I have got element of concerns about Solskjaer, because I'm still very, very sceptical that he's the foreseeable future for Manchester United. Like I said, I would definitely give him another season at the football club. He's inexperienced as a manager, but the longer Solskjaer remains in the Man United job, he's going to be gaining more managerial experience. Of course, Man United is the 3rd club he's managing in his managerial career, because, before he was at us, he was at Mould. To be fair, Solskjaer did very, very well at Mould. I think he won a couple of Norwegian titles. And before he was at Mould, he was at Cardiff. That's where he began his managerial career, Cardiff. His record was absolutely disastrous at Cardiff. But he only enjoyed a short tenure with them. I think he only managed around 29 games for Cardiff. The main explanation why he got sacked from Cardiff is because he got Cardiff relegated, did Solskjaer. But like I said to another good thing about him, he was a really, really good player for the football club for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance and that. And I've been reading reports today saying, he can't make the same mistake that Ferguson made. He won't replicate Ferguson's legacy at the club. You know, Ferguson endured, what, 26, 27 years at Man United, had 20 odd years of success, did Alex Ferguson at Man United. But obviously, you know, he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club. When we recommended him in from Aberdeen, he didn't win anything, you know, Alex Ferguson. You know, I think we won a total of 38 major honours under the Alex Ferguson era and that, you know. But like I said, you know, since Ferguson's retirement back in 2013, you know, we have been playing catch-up for the last 6 or 7 years. You know, we've had different managers with different philosophies. We've spent close to the £1 billion range on recruiting players in, because we've recruited over 30-odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era and that, don't forget. And we have made a lot of mistakes in the last 6 or 7 years, you know. And that's one of the main explanations, you know, why we have been so inconsistent. Obviously, you know, for several years we've been criticising Ed Woodward. We've also had a lot of doubts about, you know, the club's ownership, the Glazers. You know, so there you go and that. But like I said, you know, Solsjaker has enjoyed 3 transfer windows at the football club, and he has spent £220 million on 5 players, and Solskjaer is planning to get rid of around 5 or 6 players in the summer transfer market. Solskjaer's already confirmed he wants to make around 4 signings in the summer transfer market, because he believes we need around 4 signings to become title contenders, and he's already identified the areas in the squad, you know, where he thinks we need to strengthen up. And, you know, he still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young British players to Manchester United. You know, Ed Woodward's been talking a lot recently. I've already, you know, give you the news regarding Ed Woodward, haven't I? So, there you go. And I think, by the way, we have got around 9 players that are coming to the end of their contracts next year. So, obviously, you know, we've got to work on that as well. To be fair, we have extended quite a lot of players' contracts, you know, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in to the football club. But we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers, even though we have sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. So yeah. So anyway, guys, drop me comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.